Welcome back to the Ankh FetVlogs. How is everybody? Hopefully you guys are doing well out there, and man, has this been a week. Oh man. Okay, let's get to business because I know it's been a while since I've been here. So, we're coming back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ankh FetVlogs. It has been a while, a long while. Sometimes you just need a good sleep before you do anything. So I'm here to really, like, by popular demand. um, yeah, it's been a crazy week for a couple of weeks for me. If you guys have noticed that, like, the podcast, it came to a, like, once a month episode type thing going on, that is not permanent. That is just something that has come up recently. The truth is that I've been extremely busy working with the local community and trying to get, like, the community back to where it was. Years ago, I think I've talked about this. Like, years ago, there used to be a lot of people in the community going to events, and their trust was broken by one of the most major groups in my community because of the fact that that group wasn't really a kink group, as it was a swinger group posing as a kink group in order to get more people to fuck. And it's really fucking gross behavior by some people in that group. For a point in time, they were ruling the community with an iron fist. So it became one of the most major situations to have to deal with because it was just out of fucking control. That actually is what brings, like, one of my topics for today, and I plan to talk about this because I do have commentary about my local community, and it's something that I really wanted to express and talk about and get out there. So let's do it. So my local community is a very strange one. Pittsburgh has had a very strong community for years. For those of my listeners that are from Pittsburgh, I just want you guys to know that, like, things are a lot better if you've been out of the loop for a while. I've been fighting my ass off for this community, for the kink community. And when people ask me why am I doing all that I'm doing for the community, it's because of the fact I care. The community itself is not the problem. It's some of the people in said community and some of their reasons for being in the community. See, to build a community is to build trust. It's to build faith and trust in a group of people that you want to lead events and stuff like that in order to try to make it farther so that you're able to get more people to attend so that there are more events and stuff going on. For those that are attending, they want to feel safe. They want to have a safe environment in order to meet more like-minded people. The problem is sometimes that's not done by people who actually care. And that becomes one of the most majorous issues. One of the things that was said years ago, years and years ago, is you have to be careful on who you have lead, because sometimes the wrong people get the immense power in the community, and those wrong people end up causing a whole shitstorm of problems because they're not there to help you as they are there to get what they want. And it's not, or it's just, that's just the fact. That's just what it is. And it's shitty. it's a real shitty situation because in my local community, it was about money. Like, people that were running the most major group in my community, were doing it for money. That's what they were doing it for. They were doing it for money and to have as much sex as they possibly can and to feed their sexual desire by getting people in there and coercing them into sex regardless of how they feel. And if they didn't get what they want, they would false rape claim them. And it's a really shitty situation. What was it? A couple of years ago, we had actually it's only about 2 years ago that this happened, where someone in one of the group leaders from that group decided to claim that trans people didn't exist and that that the community could not protect trans people because they don't know enough about trans issues. Mind you, the person that said this was a white woman who always talks about black issues as if she understands what the fuck that means. So, do you see the irony of that there? Like, we can't protect the trans people, but we can definitely speak out on black people. This is the same group at one point in time that fucking said, and I quote, that we have to keep the community pure. That was back when there was only 9 black people in the group, and they had false rape claimed one of one of those black people in the group. Not because they had an issue with him, but because they had an issue with his wife. Because his wife wouldn't let them make the money that they wanted to charge for their dungeon use. They wanted to charge $65 to $100 per person because they weren't caring about the community. They were caring about how much fucking money they were making. To the point that these people didn't even fucking follow the rules. Like, for instance, oh, well, we're going to have it where only people that attend this event can go to our play party, get to the play party. How are there 15 people here and none of these people were at the seminar or whatever to the speech in order to even come here? Oh, well, we don't have to follow the rules because we have seniority. Then what the fuck are the rules? What the fuck are the rules? And it's shit like that. Do you know that there in our community, in this community, that group, the particular group I'm talking about, has a guy with 18 consent fucking violations. 18. And they did nothing to stop him at all. 18 consent violations. Various shit of problems that he had created. They did nothing. They didn't try to stop him. They didn't try to help the people who were affected. They didn't give a fuck. A matter of fact, what they did is that they just sidelined it. They're like, oh, it's perfectly fine. By the way, any person that has ever had leadership in that group has only had leadership due to the fact, if they're a woman, by the way, if the fact is that they were fucking one of the main people that either owned the guy that owned the group or the guy with the 18 consent violations. Huh. How do you build a community like that? How? How is a community built without building trust? And the sheer fact that a particular organization told them that they had to fucking disband because the situation was so fucking bad, and the response that they have is no, because then that would make the LLC not worth anything. So then what the fuck but then they will say to people that if you come to our events, then you know you're safe. We can't guarantee your safety with other events. How the fuck are you making that statement and you're not even protecting people from fucking a consent violator? But you're telling everybody else that you can't. The fuck? Do you see what I mean? Do you see, like, the problem here? Like, how this issue actually exists? This is why there are so many community issues. This is why there are so many community issues. There are issues because of the fact that people aren't responding the way that they should. They're not putting in the effort to keep people protected. They're only putting in the effort for themselves. They don't give a damn about anybody else. Problems be damned. They don't care. The only thing they care about is how fast they can get their dick wet. That's not building a community. Building a community is building it upon the idea that people are going to be in a safe environment and trying your damnedest to make sure that everyone is having a good time. It doesn't matter what you want. It's about what they want. It's... There was a situation with the consent violator where he was dating someone in that community and straight up left her when she turned 26. And mind you, the dude is like 45, 50, right? And straight out told her, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want you anymore. You aged out." Tell me how fucking gross that is. Tell me. She turned 26, so she aged out? The fuck? And let alone that person is still loyal to that group for some fucking reason. And it's not that they don't understand that it's an issue. It's the fact that they don't care it's an issue. That same person, right, has been fighting with me for like in the community for X amount of times. And you want to know what's the funniest thing? I made a statement to her a long time ago. And I was like, one day you're going to realize that the community you built actually respects you. And the community that you're loyal to doesn't. You still don't realize that you're just the titties and ass at the table. That's all they see you as. Because they have no respect. I've been to those meetings. I've listened to the conversations. I was there when you were there. Because at one point they were trying to groom me into being another board member, into being a group leader. I just realized that there was something wrong. You didn't, and you still stayed, even when you did realize something was wrong. One of the biggest issues that I brought up to her is that they were damaging her name and not even giving a damn. They were teaching her to spout out some of the most racist and dangerous rhetoric, while at the same time pretending to be a spokesperson for someone who is not for injustice. Don't think that she is the only one that is like this. There was a guy who was one of their top people, did a lot of rope play and stuff like that, right? That motherfucker was complacent for a lot of that. He didn't do shit because he didn't want to rock the boat. He was getting the attention. And in some cases, from people that know him, they straight out repeated the same things that I just said about her, about him. The point that I'm making is that if you're going to build a community, you are supposed to build it on the idea of trust and faith, so that people understand that they can trust you. Not the sheer fact that you can have someone go out there and claim that trans people aren't real, and then you protect the person that fucking said that. If you are listening to this and you are from the Pittsburgh community, you should fucking know exactly what I'm talking about. You will know from day motherfuck one who everyone I just mentioned was. There are serious fucking issues with that community. There are serious issues. Hence why I'm so proud and happy about other community groups actually opening stuff up. People doing other things. Recently, I was talking about how I'm going to have an interview with the people that were running a community group called Pacu. There's Obscure, which is one of the newest groups that actually started running parties and stuff. And they are a little bit more nuanced than other kink places, like other kink events, because they are more so goth and the goth and cyberpunk scene than they are like kink. And guess what? They're doing a wonderful job. They are getting more merchants. They are getting more people. There are more people being involved. Hell, our local alternative lifestyle, I'm sorry. I can't believe I just said that because I made a joke about that. Swinger / kink club. There we go. Because the alternative lifestyle club thing sounds really stupid. No, it is a swinger / kink club. They do swinger events. They do kink events. I'm more for the kink events, really, because some of their swingers are pretentious. But like the point that I'm making is it is perfectly fine and great to see something like that. It is amazing to see more places holding events, to see more people putting in that work, more people trying to make the community better, and aren't sitting on their morals because they want to make money. I want to talk about how it is that a community that is damaged heals. I just described it. By making new events, by bringing back that trust that was lost, and protecting that trust in order for people to actually go out there and enjoy themselves. For people to really get to a point where they can be excited about going to an event. Holding events that teach the community about other kinks instead of having people come out and just spew out fucking prejudices. By the way, that's something that original group I was just describing, the original group with all the terrible fucking people in it. Yeah, that's another thing. They do classes, but the classes are so shit that the people don't even listen. And then they go out there and start spewing nonsense. But what do you expect from a group that's literally run by racists? What do you expect? What do you expect from a group that is run by, like, transphobic, racist, bigoted assholes? All of which see themselves as better than you because they're white. And if you think that I'm joking on that, no. They've made comments as such as that. And they don't hide their racism. In my particular case, they asked me to be a part of a plantation party and then, like, got angry that I said no. Not only did they get angry, but then attacked me for being an ABDL. And saying that me being ABDL and not having as much sex with my kink as possible makes me a waste of big black dick. Excuse me? Comments like that are the reason. Comments like that are the reason that we have issues. That is the reason why this community needs more groups, to actually show the community that not everyone here is some bigoted asshole from the middle of nowhere who's over here thinking as if they are part of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm sorry, is that a little bit much? Fuck you, I don't care. You guys, like, for those of you that are a part of said group that I am talking about, know what I am talking about, and are just like, it's not true, we're not like that. Fuck you, yes you are. And the sheer fact that you have to stand there and try to fucking protect, try to, like, guide the line to try to claim that you're not like that, kind of proves that that's the point. You particularly might not share that view, but you're still going to their events, aren't you? You're still lapping up all that attention, aren't you? You're still having all that fun, aren't you? But at the cost of what? At the cost of the colored people around you. Let me point out something. You all had a group. You all have, actually I shouldn't even say you all have a group. You all know for a fucking fact, that the group tried to have a plantation party, to the point that the group does not point out that they didn't. You're still okay with going because that was in the past, right? Did they give you the full context or did they just hide that shit? Question. Did they give you the full fucking context? Or did they say, oh, it was just somebody else that used to be in the group, they're not in the group anymore? If they told you that, you are a fucking clown for believing them. Let me give you a little bit more context, because that plantation party wasn't the only thing that they did. Some years back, there used to be a black woman that was actually at one fucking point, right, wanted power in the community. And her reasoning to how to get power in the community was, well, if we hold a banquet and try to display like the power that we do have in the community, then maybe those white people in the group will respect us more. Okay, sounding good, right? Sounds good. Hold an event, really talk about like what makes you all shine, and then and actually try to bring reason into the group, right? So do you want the bad news here now or later? Her said reasoning sound. It wasn't. What she had planned to do, she had promised an event, right? Now she done made it sound like all we would be doing is having a banquet. She was going to particularly all black people for said banquet. Right? Just going straight to black people and asking them to serve at said banquet. Not to attend the banquet, to serve at the banquet. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Because what I am describing, I'll tell you what this is in a moment. She wanted people to serve at said banquet, to be maitre d's and waiters and servers at this event. Those that were waitresses, servers, and maitre d's at the event could not say no to any sexual advances that any white person at that event would actually make towards you. You could not say no. So if they wanted to fuck you anally and you didn't want to do anal, that doesn't matter. consent violation is perfectly fine at that particular event. Because this was to show how much power she had and how much she should be given a leadership role. That was her plan. Want to know what event this was? This event was the plantation party that I was just talking about. You get to the rules of that. Now, if you feel thoroughly fucking disgusted, good. Because I'm not done yet. This is the same group, the same person, right? Same person that came up with this fucking idea is also the same person who was coaxing black people that had joined said group into fucking other white members of said group. Yes. Yeah, no, she actually did do that. She was coaxing members of the group to fuck other members of the group. Get to that shit. You ready for this? Because it gets worse. Not only was she coaxing them into doing that shit, but she was getting paid to do that. She was taking money on the side from those white members. Welcome to Pittsburgh. A lot of people are like, that's fucking gross. And if that was your response, you are absolutely fucking correct. If you are a part of our community and are a part of said group and are still there and are perfectly fine with it, right? Well, I mean, that happened in the past. Then you're just as bad as that group is. This is why a lot of people, when they attend certain events that those members are at, they stay the fuck away from them. That's why. This is why we have the issues that we do. This community has issues created by that group. That group did not have kink members. They were swingers that were pretending to be kink members because they were looking for younger meat to fuck. Half of these people claim they were in happy marriages. They're not. Most of them were cheating on their significant other in order to try to get younger meat. If you all think that I have a problem with swingers, I do not. I have a problem with swingers that act like this. I have a problem with people who break fucking consent and then come up with bullshit about why the consent wasn't good. Why they didn't break consent at all. They'll give you every fucking excuse in the book but the right one. But the truth. And then their reasoning for not doing anything about consent violations is, well, I've known this person for a long time, so, I mean, they didn't mean to do that. Let me just preface and say this, right? If a black person in the community had said something along that line, they would have been kicked out, lambasted, tarred, and feathered. Right? But in our community, whites can make that comment and everyone just goes, yeah, that makes sense, If you think that this is just an attack on white people, you have missed the narrative entirely. This is a legitimate problem in this community. Like, currently in this community. That group still has people going to it, still have people talking about it, and even they talk about it as a, I guess I'm going type fucking thing, right? You have to understand this group is also, I have to talk about this because this is some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. So let me give you a really hilarious story. A matter of fact, I'll hold off the hilarious story. The point that I wanted to make is it's time for a community to heal. And in order to heal said community, I'm glad that new groups are popping up. New groups are teaching the community what is the proper protocol, what is the proper way to go about it. We are not approaching teaching the community through incel culture, which that group still teaches the community through. It's the reason why a lot of people have an issue with some of the people in that group. It's not like it's a lost cause, it's still a problem. But we have groups that are growing, becoming bigger, that are teaching the proper ways to do things, the proper etiquette in the community. How to actually approach things with a open mind instead of approaching it with prejudice, hate, bigotry, and racistness or racism. I don't know why racistness came up, but instead of hitting you with the 4 hates, they're actually giving you a way to actually start explaining and understanding. We have events here that are fucking awesome. There's one event that I've been to that is freaking amazing, and I absolutely love it. I'm not going to give its name out because I don't want to just throw it out there. But it's a good event because it is doing things the proper way, and the person that runs it is a really good friend of mine, and she is fucking amazing. She's doing the proper channels, vetting people, doing shit like that. That's how you're supposed to do it. Not just bring in anybody and then have them attend different events, not to participate because they're sitting there trying to learn more about the person so that they can take advantage or use the person's history against them in order to get in bed with them. I wish I was joking about that, but that particular group I was talking about at the beginning, they used to do shit like that. They used to have men just attend groups, sit in the back, not say anything, listen to the backstory of all these people, then walk up and then start trying to be like, oh yeah, I can provide you with what you want. And then right after, use that to abuse them. It's a disgusting group. It's a very disgusting group. 10 years. 10 years. 10 years I've had to fight this fucking place. 10 years. It's been a long fucking battle. And people started to see after the first 4 of what the fuck I was talking about. To the point that now people don't even want to attend anymore. Because they know the problem. It's so bad. This fucking city doesn't even want that group here. They won't even let them host fucking events because they know that they are a fucking terrible group. Motherfuckers going around using the NCSS fucking name like they're the goddamn mob. Like, if you think I'm joking on that shit, no, that's not a joke. That's a real thing. They were going around using the National Coalition of Sexual Freedom's name as if, and like talking to places and using their name as if they were the mob. Like, oh, well, if you don't let us be here, then someone might be that might be a problem for our benefactor. What the fuck is this? What are you, the mob? Like, they have to pay you a protection fee? Like, what the fuck is that? It's fucking crazy, man. But that's just the way that they are. That's just who these people were. It's gross. It's gross. But you want to know something? The community is healing. For instance, Pacu, the event that I went to, Pacu is really great. Now, I'm only going to briefly talk about this because I have an entire episode dedicated to this coming out. But Pacu was an event where people can go out there and sit. It was an unconference. I had never been to one of those, but it was really cool. Everyone wrote down like different panels that they wanted to do. Yeah, it wasn't like specific people doing panels. They brought, oh, excuse me. They brought the equipment. They brought the rope. They brought the floggers. You had people selling wares there at the convention, at the Young Conference, and making money because it was a great event. People were there to teach and show different ways, like different things at this event. Like they were there to have fun and to learn. And there was a play party right after the unconference. So explain to me where the problem is. How do we get here? How did we get here? Explain. Where people are now doing stuff like this. You want to know how we got here? I'll tell you. Because people love and care about this community. They love and care about the community. They want to be a part of the community. They want to do things to make the community better. They want to do things to make the community better. They're improving the community. The only thing is just, it takes more time than this. Another event, obscure, opening up the community to a brand new group of people. That's good. That's the way it's supposed to be. However, with this healing comes other issues, and I really want to talk about this before we jump to the next topic. One of the biggest fucking problems with the community that pisses me the fuck off, and when I say pisses me the fuck off, I mean pisses me the fuck off, is that because of said trauma from the group I was talking about, a lot of these different groups don't trust each other because they're not sharing the information like they're supposed to. And that's a problem because that's going to lead to the community damaging itself again. And then the new groups are no longer going to have the trust because no one's talking to each other. No one's talking to each other. The biggest fucking problem is that no one is communicating. And then when they do communicate, sometimes they jump off the edge and then they start like communicating something that shouldn't have been communicated in the first place, or not the way that it should be. Like a lot of these people come up to the conclusion that, oh, well, it's perfectly fine if I just start yelling about the fucking problem. No, it's not. You have to bring dialogue, not jump up there and fucking claim that, like, how fucking dare you bring this fucking person here? No, you can't do that. You can't start talking out your trauma. Because the person you're talking to doesn't understand it. And what that does is garner sympathy for that person. Remember when I was talking about how like the worst thing you can do in the community is go online and start shouting about someone who may be an issue in the community, because that creates a discourse that is really, really toxic? I'll explain. Let's take issue A. Random person who does horrible thing in community, right? You go out there and start yelling that this person is a piece of shit without giving context, right? Without telling the story or context, because it's my trauma and I don't have to talk about it. Let me tell you something. If you really believe that shit, you do not deserve to be in the community. And I'll explain why. Because that builds a toxic culture. Because that means that you can make any fucking claim without any evidence or story or claim thereof, and everybody's just supposed to follow you. If you are in this community and are so fucking naive to believe that human beings are these grandiose motherfuckers who just don't lie, cheat, steal, or do horrible other things to each other, then I think that you either are extremely stupid or extremely gullible. Or incredibly naive. If you have the naivete to actually believe that that is the case, that human beings aren't these fucking terrible ass people, then you're a fucking idiot. First off, we live in a society of people who are made up of different makeups. Not everyone is fucking good. Just because it's your trauma doesn't mean that you don't have to tell the story or give evidence. That's fucking stupid. That's how false allegations start. Because guess what? That is an actual fucking thing that happened in this community. Where the person, well, actually, I take that back. There was a false allegation with the story, but the story was bullshit. And everybody knew it. That's what happened here. So let's talk about what would happen in other situations. Oh, I'm not going to tell said story, but because it's my trauma and I don't have to share it with anybody. Just know that this person's a bad person. No, fuck you. That's not how that works. Give a fucking story. Give something for people to actually hear. Because that is important. Don't fucking go over there and start going, I don't have to give my story. That's stupid. Continuing on. If you go out there, start spouting nonsense like that, right? Just off the cuff fucking stupidity like that. And then straight up say how you don't have to give your story, right? Right? What do you think that does to the person that you are claiming? That garners sympathy for that person. That garners sympathy. People are going to be like, why are they ganging up on this person? I have never known them to be this terrible person. Like, this is awful. I'm going to stand with this person because I don't know what this crazy person is talking about. And then it creates a discourse in which you now gave said problem more power in the community than they should have had. Let me give you an example from my community, right? So, said false allegation was filed against this innocent black man so that they could get his wife out of the community. Yes, they targeted him to get rid of his wife. By the way, right? Remember I just said about the garnering sympathy thing? That garnered a lot of sympathy for him. And they believed in his wife. Except that bitch was actually fucking crazy and was one of the people that was making the community really fucking terrible. So I know you guys are like, well, then that community was correct then for getting rid of her, right? No. Just because you scapegoat someone doesn't necessarily mean that you fix the problem. Because that's exactly what they were doing. They weren't getting rid of her because of the fact that they actually believed that she was an actual issue. They were getting rid of her because of the fact that they believed that she was a fucking problem in said course, that she wasn't allowing them to make the money that they wanted to make. They still wanted to exploit black people. They still wanted to exploit the community. They still wanted to use people for sex, and that was it. That shit didn't change. The only thing that fucking changed was the fact that they wanted to make it where everybody, like, that they could do it without any pushback. That's what it was. Right? Her, on the other hand, was just compliant. She was allowing this shit to happen. Such as having men attend those fucking events to listen to people's fucking trauma. Because she was in on it. She was in on it. Was she a problem? Oh, fuck yes. Him, on the other hand, no. He was, if anything, he was more complicit with them. He didn't do anything per se. He was just the innocent victim of a community who was trying to exploit someone that his wife wouldn't let them make the money that they wanted to make. So they used him. Mind you, he didn't run events. He had no power in the community other than being known as a really good guy. That's it. That's it. His only crime was being black. You get to that shit. Because again, they had a white man with 18 consent violations. They did nothing about it. But they framed this black dude because his wife. How does that make sense? Tell me that group isn't racist. Tell me they're not racist. Give me some evidence here. Please. If you're just as disgusted as I am, yeah. My point that I am making is that the communities that are here to help the community heal have to talk to one another. They have to discuss shit. You can't go out there and not discuss things. Because then that just throws around accusation, giving the people that shouldn't have power more power. And then by inadvertently doing this, you boosted him up. It is like, people learn to approach things with tact and strategy, not emotion and blind rage. When you approach things with strategy, they work out better, and you can mitigate the damage. When you approach it with your raw emotions and how you feel, because you have told yourself that your feelings matter, that's stupid. Approach it with actual tact and strategy. Tact and strategy works better than raw emotion. All right. So we've covered that. I just want to end it with this. The community itself is fragile. It is very fragile. And we have to try to protect this community. Protect the people in the community. When you protect the people in the community, when I refer to that, I mean, as a leader, protect the community. Protect your people. Protect their trust. That's what takes a fragile community and makes it stronger. But when you let assholes like that run rampant, lack of communication between different groups so that they know who the problems are, and approach things with raw emotion than mental tact, then you destroy everything around you. I believe in my community. I believe in the people that are actually trying to actually fix things. I believe in them. And I know for a fact that in the future, things that they do is going to matter way more. And they are going to make it really, really, really fucking far. People in this community are going to be able to... People in the community are going to do a lot more and try to actually, like, help this community heal. There are groups out there that are putting in the effort. Obscure, Obsidian, Pacu, all those places, all those groups are putting in the work. They're putting in the work. So, let's trust and believe in them. And I know for a fact that they can actually get through to everything. Those watching this episode that are from Pittsburgh are like, wow, I didn't know that all of this happened. Yeah, all of this happened. Know this, right? When my criticism of approaching things with tact and not raw emotion comes from the fact that a critical mistake was made in the community that ended up boosting someone that probably shouldn't have been boosted. This is why I say these things. This is why I tell people approach with tact, not raw emotion. This is why I say that. Alright, so that has been covered. We're going to take a small break here, and we will be right back.